Hello and welcome to the Final Frontiersman, a YouTube show about all things Trek. I'm Jeremy,
And I am Bill.
and we're here to talk about the season finale. We have made it here to the 10th episode of Strange New Worlds, and I was not quite prepared for what we saw.
Or the whole thing. The whole thing.
The
Yes,
whole
I know.
thing, right?
Yeah.
A Quality of Mercy. This is going to be a review of A Quality of Mercy, and just to be clear, this is going to be a spoiler review. So if you've not seen the episode yet, I do recommend that you go watch it and then come back and hear what we have to say about it.
Definitely watch it. I mean, you need to see this. Definitely.
With you
Yeah.
here. So, Bill, you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Why not? I'll just give our quick little rundown of what the episode was about. And let's kick it off. So, basically, on Earth Outpost 4, we start with Captain Pike meeting the station commander's young son, who turns out to be one of the cadets that in Pike's tragic future will be one of the ones who die in that same moment. So, this shakes Pike to his core, and he decides he's going to write a letter to this young boy to try to change his future and prevent that fate. However, an unexpected but a very familiar visitor shows up and informs Captain Pike that his good intentions will indeed pave the road to hell. And from there, Captain Pike gets to experience a future that he will create if he attempts to avoid his fate. And he learns that it is most certainly not a wonderful life. Strange New Worlds freshman season concludes with an epic what if scenario packed full of surprises, action, and heart.
That it does. This episode was a wild ride. From
Was
start to finish. So we're going to get
Oh yeah.
started here. And just as a quick rundown of how we do a few things here, if we see something in the episode that we're going to call out specifically, we're going to refer to that as a red alert.
Red alert.
If we see something that is foreshadowing, something you want to look for in future episodes, we are going to refer to that as a yellow alert. And if we see something that may change canon and break time and space as we know it, as I say, we're going to refer to that as a black alert.
Black
All
alert.
right. So, wow.
Yeah.
What a first season we had.
An ending to this year. What a great year, and what
Yes,
an ending. Oh my God.
absolutely. And so it was interesting because last episode we mentioned that all the major events happened the previous episode, but in this episode,
Yeah.
technically nothing happened. We just got to see um, a what if, as
Yeah.
you say, like as a what if scenario.
It's a glimpse. Technically, the story of this episode is only about 7 minutes long because
Yes.
what actually happens within like the space of a second in the actual present time. It's just Pike being transported to this possible future that he would create if he sent this letter that he wrote to the station commander's son.
Correct.
And he got to see that. So technically, only 7 minutes of real time roughly passes in this episode, even though we get
True.
a massive 1 hour long, great season finale out of it.
Yes, yes. So what have we learned? What is, if we had to say you've learned one thing about Strange New Worlds, and just start the Star Trek universe. If I had to say, if I personally had to pick one thing, I would learn that Pike be cooking, and that's the
Yeah.
that's the note that I made here.
Yeah.
This guy cooks a lot, and
He cooks a lot. He cooks for everyone, and he is, yeah. That's one of his. That's one of his traits. That's one of his talents. You know,
yes, it is.
he shows it off. Yeah,
Yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed watching him cook. almost every episode. That's been
Yeah,
something
yeah.
that's I almost look forward to that now. Like
And not just that, but how everyone reacts to his cooking. Like, it is so good. It makes me want to try. I'm waiting for the Strange New Worlds cookbook to be released because I have to try some of the recipes he has out there.
With his arms crossed on the front.
Yeah. And Spock in the apron as well. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
On the cover,
the sous chef out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with that. It really just fleshes out to his character, adds to him. I've been having fun with that. And then we move forward a little bit, and we get to see a uniform that I have not seen for quite some time.
Oh my God, are you going to call it or am I?
I'm gonna let you have it. I'm gonna be nice to let you have it.
Red alert to the extreme. When I saw that, the hairs stood up on my arm. I was grinning. That was the start of my grin for the next roughly 58 minutes.
Yeah, right.
But that uniform, oh my God. I was happy when I got this. Okay.
Yeah.
Now I have something else I'm looking forward to when it finally shows up.
Mm-hmm.
I have to have it. I have to buy that.
Yes.
My God.
Yes.
Go ahead, talk about rant, rave.
So
let's
happy
hear
to
it.
see that uniform back on screen. And
The Monster Maroon, as they call it, right?
So, and then it was slightly updated. A very hair
in Strange New World update to it. You get the shoulders.
Yeah,
you get a slight change in the angle of the chest, how the flap comes across. Just it fits the aesthetic well that they are revising for Strange New Worlds. It's the perfect, and even though it's not an exact match, it's the perfect flow for this because again, it's an alternate future. Correct. So we've seen that before. We've seen that in TNG. I think we've also seen it in a variation in Voyager too, I believe, where there's this future image that's not quite the right timeline, where you see a similar enough uniform, but there's just very subtle changes that suggest it's not the same timeline.
Exactly. Yeah, I've really enjoyed seeing the slightly update, a believable update as well.
Yeah.
But one thing I've noticed about Star Trek ever since 2009 has been addicted to Chevron. Like, it really has. I don't hate it, but we got them in the Kelvin uniforms, but the entire uniform was the Chevron pattern. And then, Strange New Worlds, showing up, and it's got all this down here. We're seeing it with the Monster Maroon.
You even have Lower Decks has a character, Badgie.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a living Chevron.
A whole character. What was Picard had the shoulder with the Chevron. So that has just been a pattern that they have adopted. I don't hate it, but it's just been amusing to me.
It's everywhere now. Whereas in the original series, really that was the Enterprise logo. Yes. You had the Enterprise badge. You see it again here and there, but other ships, stations, and that they were trying to introduce their own mark, their own insignia.
Yes,
but clearly that never caught on, and it makes more sense to have a standardized logo. But the new Star Trek, the current modern Star Trek, is just running with it.
Yes, they are. They really are. So, then you find out that Pike's good deed is about to ruin so many people's lives.
So many.
And
more.
It's just... Janeway always had a problem with time travel. And I get it. To think that writing one letter and preventing one person from joining Starfleet causes all of that.
Yeah.
It's difficult to believe, but, I don't know.
It's not difficult to believe for me. I mean, the whole idea of the butterfly effect, and it's something that has fascinated me for years, that just, and even I think about now, and I believe we discussed this before, and I don't know if we discussed it on this video or elsewhere, but the thing is, probably when we were talking about Picard, that was it. I was talking to someone about Picard, but the whole thing of traveling back in time, and just briefly in Picard, you go back and you have the dystopian future with evil murderer Picard that's killing everyone. Yeah. But really, if that change happened back in the past where it did, there wouldn't even be a Jean-Luc Picard. There wouldn't be any single character that we know 500 years in the future, unless they were already born at that point where time split off. The odds of them still being there would not be there, because they are the product of, here we go with biology, of that one specific sperm and that one specific egg at that one precise moment meeting. And odds are that meeting is not going to continue for every single human being, every single individual for 500 years. You would never have those characters. You would have nothing like that again. So the fact that one letter that he writes, telling this guy not to go there, he's avoiding his fate, which again, he's the captain of the flagship of the Federation. So he's avoiding that fate of his. He's having all those other people avoid that fate. Right. So he's on missions that he would never been on. They are going to places, meeting people that they've never met before. They are stopping other people from meeting people they would have met. Everything is going to change, and it's going to ripple out and alter the future indefinitely. And the fact that I love the title, A Quality of Mercy. A quality of mercy. And the quality here is the negative quality, that there's some situations where the mercy does not help. You have this situation where showing that mercy, showing that weakness, leads to the death of millions of innocents. Because if Kirk was, should we red alert Kirk? Well, we'll get to that in a second. We'll get to that in a second. All right. We'll get to that in a second. If Kirk was the one in command with his cowboy gung-ho style, he would have shown that strength, stopped it. But that Pike was the wrong person to have at the time. So yes, a simple act like that. Simple act, not even just, but hey, I'm getting off my high horse. Like I said, this whole butterfly effect, like decades, literally decades, I've been reading books on this stuff. But not even that, Pike just stopping at his door for a minute longer than he should have is again going to change a ripple throughout time, because he's going to interact with people differently. Everything's going to change. So yes, a letter is definitely going to change everything.
That's fascinating. It really, really is. It really, really is. So we touch a time crystal again.
Time crystals.
And we go back and Pike walks onto this bridge. Did you notice anything different with the bridge? Now, I did love seeing Lieutenant Uhura at her station with her green earrings.
With the earrings. I'm going to say that was a disappointment for me. Well, really? That not that in itself, but that leads to the one small disappointment when I watch it. I'm like, and it's not just Uhura, but she was the first time I noticed it. Like, I wish she would have had a wig like she had in Balance of Terror.
I'm with you. I
like
got you.
A similar one, but it connects all of them. Ortega's, nobody's haircut changed in 7 years. Everybody's sporting the exact same haircut they had 7 years earlier. Not a single person has altered it slightly. So, I mean, I first noticed it with Uhura, but I thought, how great would that have been if she had a wig matching Michelle Nichols? It doesn't even have to be an exact match, but just showing that's the 7 years in the future version of Uhura.
She did have her uniform though, with the like the
she
larger, like the open neck and
the similar uniform, not the Strange New Worlds version, but the earrings there. I'm like, there we go. It was really, really good. It was nice.
You're right. And then they had the we discovered that we're about to see the Romulans for the first time. And I'm going to nitpick on Trek a little bit when we say that we have been at war with the Romulans for 100 years, but no one's ever seen one.
That's weird.
is that possible? In space, like, we're just going to obliterate each other's ships. Like, to being at war, but they've never had any ground combat, anything like that. I mean, maybe it makes them more terrifying, and it's a way of writing them in. Same with the Gorn. You know, we've been struggling and fighting with these guys, but we've never seen them.
Yeah.
It's difficult for me to believe as well, but trying to suspend my my disbelief here for a bit.
You would think there would be something by this point. Somebody would be like, "Oh, I got a picture of a Romulan right here," but nobody, no ally, nowhere they've ever encountered. I mean, I know this is still the Wild West version of Star Trek, while they're still spreading their territory out. So maybe they haven't really gone into any territory where the Romulans are more known. So the fact that it's been a Cold War for 100 years and it's like, okay, we're staying on our side, you stay on yours.
Right.
Maybe it's believable, but yeah, it is one of the ones that kind of stretches that. Yeah,
it does. Yeah, because I've had nitpicks, and we'll have many nitpicks at Star Trek. For the Romulans and Vulcans to have such ancestry, but we've never seen each other before. You know, we came from the same planet, right?
Yeah,
I've never seen you before.
And they seem to know a lot about their system and everything. They even name Romulus and Remus. So they have a lot of information, but they've never seen
each other.
What they look like.
And I'm sure there are some Star Trek scholars out there who have seen the deep canon that can, this is why, because when they split, they just decided to just erase, I don't know, whatever. But,
whatever it was, right?
Still, I continue to love seeing that version of the future. Ortegas and I don't really know the other girl yet had switched stations.
Yeah, they were on opposite sides. I know who you're talking about. I forget her name too. Yeah.
Yeah, but so we get to see that we are now watching a retelling of Balance of Power.
A Balance of Terror.
Balance of Terror.
Balance of Terror,
yes, Balance of Terror.
And like when it started happening, I'm watching it like, oh, what's happening? And like, are they really going to play an episode of TOS with the Strange New Worlds cast? And I'm watching, and like, this is Balance of Terror. It's Balance of Terror. And then speaking of the Romulans, where you see it, and then it does the zoom up to Spock and his
eyebrow peak. Yes, I was like, oh my god,
oh my god. Like I said, I was still smiling for like an hour.
Yes.
It was just everything. It's just like this is such a I hate, and I'm going to use an expression that I honestly hate, but it's such a love letter to the original series and to Star Trek. And I honestly hate that expression. I hate when people say, oh, it's a love letter to whatever. I despise it, but I mean, I didn't have time to prepare, and we always talk on the fly. We never discuss this with each other. So of course that's the feeling I want to convey, but I hate that expression.
I get that. No. I can understand that. I'm guilty of using it though. No. Like, I don't know. I've still got a guy I work with, and he brings up like, I watched 2 episodes of Strange New Worlds, and it's just not like the original. It's not like I remember, and I'm like, I don't get it at this point. And I've said it before, and this is my soapbox. I don't know what we can do at this point to please. You can't please everybody. I get that.
Yeah, it's a matter of taste, but at the same time, there is a large number of fans, of viewers who look for something to hate.
Yeah, absolutely.
They just, and I mean, I can kind of get that when you've been disappointed by a lot of things from something you love for so long. You really go in with very low expectations, and sometimes you go in with antagonistic expectation, and so you're not even seeing anything that's good. You're looking at what you don't like. You're searching for what you don't like. So I get the mindset, but I honestly can't. I can't follow it because, as you know, Jeremy, there's a lot of new Star Trek that I really don't care for, and it really disappoints me, and it just does not entertain me, so I don't feel joy watching it. So I don't really continue watching it.
Sure.
But when a new series comes out, I still try it. I give it a chance because I'm like, well, this is something new. Let me see how it is. Even though everything before has let me down, this is another chance to start again. Let me see what this is. And Strange New Worlds, like from day one, it's like, this feels like what I loved about Star Trek, with its own modern take as well, to take it to another level. And maybe we should call Soapbox Choking out. Maybe we should call Soapbox Alert here. But I think, like, the thing is that a lot of new Star Trek really tries to take things in a completely new direction, which is good, which a lot of people like, which a lot of people maybe want this fresh perspective of the whole universe. And that's fine. And a lot of fans don't want that fresh perspective. They like how it was, the routine of it. And I understand that. I think Strange New Worlds takes what's strong from both of those elements and it combines it beautifully.
I agree.
And that's what I love about it.
Definitely agree. Yeah, for sure. I just keep saying at this point, I mean, yes, Discovery is different. It's a different style. And I don't, when people say they don't like it, I get it. Because I've got a lot of issues with it. But then, Picard, it being a sequel, like, okay, well, this is the end of a TNG story. And I even set it aside as its own thing. But then you have Prodigy being this is for children. This is to get the little ones really interested in it. And I think that does a fine job. It's fine. When people ask me, what do you think about Prodigy? I say, I'm indifferent. I have no opinion of it. Because it's not marketed at me. And then you have Strange New Worlds, which is that love letter to the old series.
It is, though. It is.
You have something for everyone. At this point, I feel like you have something for everyone. And if you're if you can't find anything here, then maybe you just like Star Trek The Next Generation. And that's okay, too.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It's still there. I love it. Go back, watch it, enjoy it. Yeah, stick with what you love. It doesn't make you any less of a fan. It just means you don't like this aspect of it.
You just don't,
Like you don't have to love everything just because it's part of the brand. That's not how you become a fan. I think it's reasonable to have complaints about something that you love, especially if it's doing something you don't like. Because if you don't express your dislikes as well as your likes, how can you expect the people who make it to make any changes if they never hear any feedback?
Correct.
So, but I think you still need to be fair and reasonable about how you express those complaints or those gripes, because the goal should be trying to improve and saying, this doesn't work for me because of this reason.
Correct.
Not saying, well, this is stupid or this, that. But yeah, of course, you do have other people who hate it for very, very unfortunate reasons. And I don't even want to get into that. But let's get back to the episode. Let's get back to this great episode.
Yeah, it was. So we get to see, like you said, the just this whole retelling of Balance of Terror, which was really good. They were taking lines from the old episode
from it
between the two Romulans, their communication back and forth, and it was just fantastic from
like complete quotes and lines from the entire episode. Balance of Terror keep popping back up, and it's, again, like we said, love letter. But okay, red alert. Throw the red alert out.
The red alert up today.
It wasn't season 2. It was the end of season 1. We get Kirk. We get the first appearance of Kirk.
Yes, we do.
All the news were saying he's appearing in season 2. Nope, it's here at season 1.
Season 1. That I expected to see him in season 1 because we had already seen images of him in the uniform, and it kind of leaked that Kirk was coming. So it was like, they can't be shooting season 2 already. There's no.
Well, they're actually finished shooting it now.
Oh, are they now? Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. They just announced they wrapped up filming season 2 even before Discovery's done with season 5.
Well,
yeah, isn't that weird? So that's why I'm thinking, like, oh shoot, they're really plugging away at this. But no, That was from season 1. We have Kirk. How do you feel about the new Kirk actor? That's what I want to ask you.
So when I first saw him and listened to him talk,
Mm-hmm.
it was a little hard to buy that. Okay, this is Kirk. I felt like he needed a little bit more. I don't know, like
Swagger.
well, yeah. William Shatner,
Yeah.
he just carried the spotlight, and I don't know if it's because of the '60s lighting or anything. Like when he was on, when you saw him, I was like, oh wow, this guy is somebody. He would stand out in a crowd, right?
Yeah.
This guy looked just like anybody else, and acted like any other captain.
Yeah.
For
yes
a while. And even like during the scenes of him and Pike interacting and disagreeing, and I was like, man, this is kind of hard to swallow that this is Kirk until the very end of the episode when he brought out those mining ships to trick the Romulans into us thinking this is our fleet, this is Armada. At that moment, I bought it. Okay. Okay, I get it now, and it's almost like he had to show. And my headcanon is just that this is a much younger Kirk, so that's why he doesn't stand out quite so much yet. Maybe.
Well, here's what I'll say about that. I'll say I agree with you. I thought when he returned with those mining ships, I thought that was a Kirk moment.
Yes.
But yeah, just like you, I didn't buy him as the Kirk we know.
Right.
But at the same time, that makes me wonder if, again, because the future is entirely different now, the last at least 7 years would be different. So we're seeing a Kirk who is not the captain of the flagship of the Federation. He's the captain of a smaller, just exploratory vessel, whatever the Farragut is.
Right.
He's not the great leader that we all know from the series. Right. So maybe that's why he's not exuding that kind of confidence. Maybe that's why he's not coming off with the swagger, like I said, because he is kind of a step down from the position that he would have been in had Pike not changed the future. So I was trying to look at it from that perspective. Like he's a still brash, but he's a less confident Kirk because he's no longer the head of the pack, you know?
Right. I think that's correct. I really do. I'm not going to judge one or probably even 3 performances until we kind of get later on, but it took that last scene, though, again, to save it for me to think, okay, all right, that's a Kirk thing to do.
Yeah, you know? It felt like a Kirk thing.
Very, very, very much so. I'm looking forward to seeing a little more later on.
Yeah, I would like, not too much, but
not too much. Yeah, I want to keep Pike in the chair for the whole show. My question is, would you have a problem with the final 1 to 2 seasons being Kirk, though, just as a hypothetical? Like, okay, well, if we see let's say if it's a 5-season run, if season 4 toward the end of it we see the tragedy that happens with Pike, and then we have 1 season of Kirk, or would you want it to be the last episode?
I would want it to be the last episode. I want this to be Pike series. I want this to be the current cruise series. Okay. I think we've already got 3 seasons and 6 movies of Kirk and the old crew. I don't think we need to see a slightly earlier version of TOS. We already have TOS. It still holds up on its own. I would rather have Pike and the current crew, however long they're planning on staying, be there till the end.
Yeah, I agree. I do. I wouldn't mind a passing of the torch episode at the end of the season finale or something like that. It wouldn't bother me a bit. I wouldn't mind seeing Kirk and Spock getting to know each other. That early adoption, I would like to see that. But is it fitting for this series? I don't know. I really don't know.
If Kirk starts appearing more in the final season, I would have no problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't want it to be his show. I would want it to still be Pike's show until the last few episodes or whatever.
Sure. Yeah, I agree, but I am looking forward to seeing more things. Probably should call this a yellow alert, but
Okay.
I think it's a little too obvious. We do know Scotty is
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Starfleet now, even though we
Yeah,
got
yeah.
a voice.
Yeah,
But,
we got his voice.
We got his voice. So
Yeah.
it's something I'm looking forward to
So
seeing. But
he might be there in season 2 now that we don't have a chief engineer.
I don't
So-
want to talk about that. But
Yeah, I don't want to bring that. I don't want to bring that
no, I
back up.
agree though. That was the first thought that crossed my mind after my anger, rage, depression, my 7
Yeah.
steps was,
Yeah.
all right, well, who's going to replace the guy? Well, wide open for Scotty to take over, but I don't know how long Scotty has been on the Enterprise. I don't know if he was there.
It doesn't
before
mean
Kirk.
he's going to come that quickly.
No,
so
it does
so we
not.
could get somebody completely new.
Mm-hmm.
But
Good.
I just want to jump back real quick with the episode because, of course, the whole key point of this episode, and again, just like the Butterfly Effect, and even just like the Butterfly Effect movie, the more that you try to change, and this reminded me also of the Voyager two-parter, Year of Hell, where you have the Krenim captain. I forget his name, but he keeps trying to change the past to save his family, restore his people.
Yes.
But he can never get it just right. And sometimes it makes it worse and worse and worse. And that's what Pike learns from this future, that no matter how hard he tries to change his fate, yes, he could save himself, but every time it's going to lead to the same fate for Spock instead. So the fact that Pike is locked in this fate, if he's going to swap himself out, he's going to be replaced by Spock. So now he has to decide, do I save a handful of cadets and myself at the loss of Spock and millions of innocent people in the war?
Right.
And when he learns that, when he saw what happened to Spock in this episode, blown up, all disfigured, and when he realizes that that's what's going to happen, the Anson Mount, red alert, please, red alert me on this one. There's this subtle expression on his face where he doesn't say a word, but you see in his expression, he understands in that moment. Exactly. And he's like, and just that defeat, like, I have no choice. That look was beautiful. Honestly, I got tears in my eyes from that brief moment that he did, because you could feel what his character was feeling. Bravo, Anson Mount. Like, I love him every episode. He's perfect for this role, and he's an astounding actor. I love it. I'm almost tearing up now just picturing.
About it, right?
Yeah.
I agree. I think that I'm really happy with the direction this episode took. That okay, this is canon. This is how it's going to happen.
Yeah, and I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. At first, I thought, oh, this is going to be interesting because now we're going to have an episode that's going to say, well, this doesn't necessarily have to happen at first, but then later on. Especially, it really solidified it for me seeing Spock on that bed as well. Like looking like Pike will.
And I think that was good because I really don't want the series to find an out for Pike because we love Pike.
Oh, of
but
course, yeah.
We also know what happens to him, and that's okay. Yeah. I think it's good that he is going to meet this fate, or he should. And I think this episode really solidifies it, and they should not try to undo it in the future because this episode is so good. And I think it was a great way of saying, like, look, it's going to happen. Accept it. That was the way of the episode telling us, the viewers, like, just accept it. He's having this fate. Now let's continue the series.
Absolutely.
So I hope that's how it goes. But yeah, great episode through and through. Great season.
Absolutely.
10 for 10. 10 for 10.
10 for 10.
Amazing start Strange New Worlds. I love it. I loved it.
What a way to open a show. That's all I got to say.
Dang.
Well,
Yeah.
Well, that's all I've got for this right here. Bill, do you have anything else? Any final words right before we go?
No, there's nothing I want to say except I'm looking forward to the next season. I'm glad they're setting up something tying in with Una's backstory. We got that little teaser at the end, so I'm glad they're done filming it. Fingers crossed. I can't wait to see the next one and talk about it.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we really appreciate you coming by and watching. And if you have any questions or anything you'd love to hear us talk about, anything you'd like to see, please feel free to reach out to us in the comments, or you can find us on our social medias.
At the Final FM, mostly Twitter, but see us wherever you can find us. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, again, thank you for watching. And until next time, until season 2, live long and prosper.
Peace and long life.